So this is the first episode in a new series where I'm going to be reviewing all the chapters in the book, The Mental Game of Baseball by H.A Dorfman. That's what it looks like right there. Alright, so the first point, not too easy, not too hard, which basically just means you don't want to make your goals too easy, you don't want to make your goals too hard. And you kind of just have to play around with it and adjust your goals a little bit so that you find like the perfect middle balance. Because if you make your goals too easy, then they're going to end up just not being satisfying when you complete them. If you make them too hard, then you're going to start stressing over them, and you're just going to be not happy and not motivated to complete them. So just make sure your goals aren't too easy or your goals aren't too hard. So you want to often check to see if you're making progress in your goals, because if you're not making progress in your goals, then it's most likely too hard and you need to change it. But when you do change it, you want to make sure you change it slowly and not like a huge change, because if you do a huge change, then it's basically just a completely different goal. And before you do change your goal, you want to ask yourself, how much effort am I putting into this? Because sometimes when you're not making progress, your goal's not too hard, you're just not working hard enough. So if you're not working hard enough, then you just need to work on, working harder, being more disciplined. But if you think you're working like 100% and you're still not making progress, then you need to fix your goal and change it a little bit. So if you set a goal and it's like you accomplish it pretty easily, then obviously your goal is too easy, and you need to make that same goal but make it harder, because you want to be satisfied when you accomplish a goal, but you still want to accomplish that goal. So if your goal is too hard, then you're not going to want to accomplish it, but if it's too easy, then you're not going to be satisfied. So you need to find that perfect balance. So after you set your goal, you need to find out a plan for accomplishing your goal, because if you just set a goal and you don't have a plan, then you're not going to accomplish it. You're just kind of messing around and not really doing anything. So you want to make plans for your goals and make sure your goals aren't too there's not too many details in your goals. You just want to be simple. Like, for example, let's say you have a basketball game coming up and you want to score 20 points. That's a simple goal. But if your goal is I want to score 20 points, get 10 assists, 5 blocks, and the second quarter, that's a pretty specific goal. So you just want to focus on one simple goal, because that just makes it easier to accomplish and a lot simpler and just more efficient. So you also have to be patient with your goals, because if you I know I said check progress, but let's say you check your progress once a week for a month and you don't notice any improvements. If your goal is a pretty big goal that you know is going to take a long time, then a month really isn't that long and only once a week. So if you haven't made any improvements in that amount of time, then you still just need to be more patient. You don't really need to change your goal. But let's say it's been a year and you haven't made any improvements, then you definitely need to change your goal. But I think you just want to make sure that you don't try to progress too fast, because then you're going to end up changing your goals all the time and not accomplishing just one goal. So just be patient with your goals. So when you if you're making a goal about a sport, or I guess really just anything that requires you to perform, when you do that performance in a baseball, if you have a baseball goal and you have a baseball game soon, your baseball game will determine what you need to work on and what you've accomplished already. So that's just an easy way to figure out how to set new goals and what goals you haven't accomplished and what goals you have accomplished. So you just want to make sure that when you're going into a game, you know that what you're going to learn from the game is what you need to work on and what you've accomplished already. And during that game or performance or whatever, you want to make sure you're using the word do or will and not don't. So for example, if you're playing shortstop and you're getting ready to field a ground ball, you want to make sure you're telling yourself, when the ball comes to me, I will field the ground ball and I will throw it to first. Instead of saying, if the batter hits a ball to me, then I better not mess up, and I better not make a bad throw to first. Because if you think that, then you're gonna imagine yourself making those errors, and it's just not gonna be as fun. Because if you visualize what you're gonna do, you're probably gonna do it. So you want to visualize success instead of visualizing failure. So when you set goals, you want to make sure that you believe you can achieve that goal. You don't want to hope you achieve that goal. You don't hope that you get a hit. You don't hope you make a shot. You don't hope you perform well. You believe you can perform well. You believe you can get a hit. You believe you can make a shot. Because if you hope, then you don't really have any confidence, and you just kind of like, you know, it's almost like you don't have control over it. You just kind of like wishing it would happen. But if you believe it's going to happen, then you have confidence in it, and you know that you can control it, and you know that you are going to do it, which is makes you more confident, so you will achieve, you're more likely to achieve your goal. So when you set a goal, it should be challenging, and it should be like a high goal, but that is like a risky thing to do, because there's more chance that you'll fail, which a lot of people are scared of failure, and that's just like a normal human thing to be scared of, because you know failure is not good. But if you do fail, you know, you just try again, right? Like if you fail, it doesn't really matter. You just try again, you learned. So when you do fail, it actually is a good thing, because you learned what not to do, and you've learned what you've done wrong. So you can actually improve yourself and maybe even accomplish that goal better. So just don't be scared of high goals, and eliminate the fear of failure. So the two last topics of this book are don't make any excuses and don't set too many goals. So if you make excuses, that's kind of like allowing yourself to lose and allowing yourself to fail, which is not a good thing, because excuses are just like why did you fail? Well, because of this. But that excuse usually just like, you just accept defeat, I guess. And if you don't make excuses, then you won't accept defeat, and you just learn from what you've done, and then you can redo it and redo it better, so you can win next time. And you also don't want to make too many goals, because if you set like 10 goals, then you can't really work on any of them. You can't like specialize, because there's just so many goals. So I'd say like the most you would probably set is like 5, and even that's a lot. So like 3, like 1 to 3 is probably a good number to aim for. But you just want to have a few main goals to work on, so you can really specialize and accomplish a lot. So to summarize this chapter, I would say that you just want to find the perfect balance between easy goals and hard goals, because if it's too hard, then that's not good. You're not going to be motivated. If it's too easy, then you're not going to be satisfied. And if you do accomplish an easy goal, then just make it harder. And before you like change a goal, you want to ask yourself, how much effort have I put into this? And if the answer is not a lot, then you don't need to change it. But if it's 100%, then you probably should change it. And I think you also need to just be patient with your goals, because if you're impatient, then you're gonna end up changing your goals too early, which is not a good thing. And you also don't want to say excuses, because if you do that, then you're just gonna allow yourself to fail and not really like give yourself responsibility. And you also don't want to set too many goals, because if you do that, then you're just gonna have too many things to work on. So just set a few and work on those. And you also have to believe that you can achieve your goal, because if you don't, then you're not really gonna like accomplish it. You're just gonna wish for it, hope for it, and just kind of like leave it to luck. But if you believe it, then you're gonna be confident, and you're gonna put yourself in control of your goal. So that's the end of chapter 1 of the mental game of baseball, which is about making goals, setting them, and achieving them.